Hello. This video reviews our daily language program sentences 5 through 8 of our second set, or 41 through 44 if you are numbering consistently from our first set. Samuel Johnson was a very influential literary figure. In fact, the second half of the 18th century in England is called the Age of Johnson. Okay, so after figure, we have a comma splice. We need a semicolon there. A comma after in fact. 18th is okay if you're using MLA format. If not, you can write it out. And then Age of Johnson, age should be capitalized. Was it not for James Boswell, the author's biographer and friend, much of Johnson's wit and brilliance might have been lost. Here's a subjunctive mood category. Were it not for James Boswell. The next one, to insert a missing comparative. Better known than any lexicographer, a lexicographer is a dictionary writer, and Johnson was a dictionary writer himself, so he can't be better known than himself. So you have to say better known than any other lexicographer. Johnson is remembered for his massive, dash, and often humorous, dash, dictionary of the English language. Johnson compiled his dictionary between 1746 and 1755. Again, there's our comma splice. We need a new sentence, or you can use a semicolon. During those years, he also wrote essays, comma, poems, comma, and criticism. James Boswell, to who Johnson was a mentor. Johnson was a mentor to him, so it's to whom Johnson was a mentor. Diligently filled notebooks with his friends' conversation. Then, long after the events had occurred, Boswell, wrong word here for adopted, adapted, A-D-A-P-T-E-D, adapted his notes into a unified work of art and a new type of biography. Unlike earlier biographies, The Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell, we need to underline our book title if we're handwriting or italicize if we're typing, did not glorify his, meaning Boswell's, subject by hiding Johnson's faults. So there we have a few ambiguous pronouns, and sometimes it's just better to go ahead and put the noun back in there. Even the greatest people have shortcomings. We could say, since even the greatest people have shortcomings, comma, Boswell hoped that readers would avoid Johnson's follies while copying his virtues. So there again, we may need to put Johnson's name in where it belongs. Often called the voice of Scotland. Okay, since they started with quotation marks, we'll end it with quotation marks, but we also need to capitalize voice and Scotland. And then we'd have often called the, open quote, capital V, voice of, capital S, Scotland, comma, after the introductory, close quote. Robert Burns was largely self-educated and spent most of his life as a farmer. Burns's, B-U-R-N-S apostrophe, or B-U-R-N-S apostrophe S. Many well-known poems and songs include the New Year's Eve favorite, capitalize your calendar item there, New Year's Eve, favorite Auld Lang Syne, period, close quote, after the song. Rebelling has two L's, R-E-B-E-L-L-I-N-G, against formal 18th century poetry. Burns wrote about everyday subjects. Now we have a list of those subjects, so let's put a colon there. Farm work, family life, and even mice and lice. His use of the Scottish dialect not only brought a much-needed freshness, hyphenate much needed right there, to English poetry. Now we have the wrong second half of a correlative conjunction. A correlative conjunction is a two-part conjunction like either, or, neither nor, not only, but also, both, and. One occurs in one part of the sentence, you have a few more words, and then the second part occurs later on. So not only should be, but also. Scottish dialect not only brought a much needed freshness to English poetry, but also honored commoners as well. Now there's another test that we need to do as well. The grammar rule is whatever comes right after each part must be parallel. It must be the same grammatical form. They got it right here. Let's take a look. Not only, verb, brought. We change that to but also. Honored is a verb, so that works. So they got their parallel structure right. They just got the wrong part of the conjunction in there. And then the final one for today, final set. Keenly interested in Scottish folk music, poems. Okay, we can stop right there and say that's wrong. A person is interested in something, but poems are not interested in anything. They are what they are. So we have to put Burns's name next to that, don't we? Keenly interested in Scottish folk music, Robert Burns intended his poems to be sung to traditional tunes. Not all of the poet's work was in dialect. All of it's not horrible right there. You can put that in there, but you could leave it out. Not all the poet's work was in dialect. Then there's the comma splice after dialect. Need to fix that, put a period, start a new sentence because the next part is pretty long. You could put a semicolon, but a period would be better here, and then capitalize when. When dealing with more typical or respectable subject matter, Burns wrote in standard English. Robert Burns enjoyed a few seasons of fame, no comma, but suffered badly all his life from poverty, comma, illness, comma, and scandal from his many love affairs. No matter what the feelings in his heart, Burns was, not were, Burns was able to capture them poetically. So that concludes our set this time.